What is going on, everyone? My name is Northy and I am here to, on time, put out the round 13 preview. We are in the teens. We are officially teens, everybody. We've got ourselves some interesting matchups. Two teams in the bye that do affect us. One a lot more than the other, but they still affect us, and we are going to try our best to make it work this week. Excited as per usual to get straight into it, but before we do so, let's give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I really put a lot of effort into that head movement. Subscribe to the channel and become a member if you really enjoy the content as well. It's all very, very much appreciated, and I hope that you guys will enjoy the video. And let's get into it. Here we are. Let's see how we do this week. There are few changes here and there, stuff that I'm excited to do, but at the same time, we have just got to work with what we've got in some ways and enjoy what we have created in others. But let's have a look. Let's see how we're looking this week. We'll start off with star powers. I think star powers is a lot less stress than usual, so we'll see how star powers goes this week. We've got some minor changes. We have changed up Lockie Whitfield. He is going in the defensive dynamo position instead of Tom Stewart, because Tom Stewart has gotten to the point where, yeah, he's alright, but I think Lockie Whitfield manages to play more consistent more often. There's no one who really averages too much except for Hayden Young, and Hayden isn't playing this week, so Hayden is not going to be picked this week, and I think the next best that I'm seeing, other than Dan Houston, who's doing pretty alright under the radar, who we also can't pick, we are going to go with Lockie Whitfield. I think he's just the best option this week by a bit of a margin. So other than that, we're sticking with the rest of them. Jacobs seeing really no reason to switch out. I think Walsh at the moment is threatening to take his spot out of everybody, but we're going to stay with Dacos and maybe switch it up next week. Midfield Bull, Zach Merritt just remains Mr. Consistent. He's had the occasional poor game as of late, but back to 115 is what we want to see. And then Nick Martin stays very, very good for the next generation position. Luke Jackson is the only one who's contesting very often. Tom DeConey with a good one last week, but not much of a threat compared to usually how he plays. But Nick Martin, yeah, just up there. He's kind of the tag team alongside Merritt at the moment. It's very nice to have them both. And Maxi Gorn, I don't see a reason to take him out. Averaging 122 is crazy. The only one who's contested him throughout the year has been Dane Zorko, and then occasionally Dane will have the poor game that completely ruins the week. So we like Max Gorn. He does very well for us, and hopefully we see something good again this week. But we go to the ultra star powers, and oh man, there's some changes in here. I told you there'd be some changes with Nick Martin coming in. I got his double points card. I'm so happy with that. It's going to be such an awesome week with him. Obviously, we had to take out double points Sarong, so we put in double points Chad Warner. That may surprise a few people because I haven't seen the Chad Warner around. There's going to be an explanation to that this weekend, so keep your eyes out for a video that may show exactly how Chad Warner has ended up in our possession. But as a heads up, I do not have the Chad Warner team star powers. I'll leave you guys to that and have you guys think as to what that may mean. But this is a really awesome lineup. The only thing is, I really wish we had Whitfield in here. It makes me feel like sometimes we may have to go the double points Whitfield and switch up the midfield ball for someone else. But I just feel like that's not going to work so well. I just have to hope Stewart plays well enough that the rest of these guys can carry the load, because this needs to be good, obviously, if we want to see some prize cards. But man, I don't know. I'm just worried that this is going to let me down. I really am. But we have a look last week. It was a very meh week. Nothing too crazy. We did all right with the top 10 in this one with the silver star powers, but obviously it didn't get us there, didn't get us over the line, so nothing to really write home about, but that's okay. We move to top team, where we are obviously fighting for our lives right now in here. Good news, we get to put Heaney back in. That's always good. I love chucking Heaney in the forward line. He is the only one who plays consistently well every single week, and it's a pleasure to have him. He's usually number one, so safest option at the moment. Maxi Gorn didn't win last week, but I think not many people would have picked the Nank. 51 hitouts is also ridiculous for him. 7 marks alongside it, and he's only 20 points, not even above Maxi Gorn. So I'm hopeful that Max can do another 120 point performance. That would be awesome. Sammy Walsh is starting to find the form, man. 133. I think he had a really good performance the week before. This could be Mr. Consistent again. We could see Mr. Consistent outside of Zach Merritt and in a different form. Sam Walsh looks like he's about to explode, and I'm really, really keen to see how that turns out. But we're going to stick with Nick Dacos as well in the back line. There's some that I was thinking about, like Bailey Dale has had a really nice stretch of form, but I'm honestly just terrified of picking him. I think if Dale can beat Dacos this week, we will switch back to Dale, because Dale has been playing a very important role in the doggies' very nice form as of late. So maybe he's the guy to go with very soon, but Dacos, we'll stick with him. We'll see how he goes. Sheasel obviously still in the running. There's a few that I have my eyes out for here, but of course we're still trying to hold on to this rank number 1. Only 368 points last week due to a poor Jordan Dawson game. I was thinking maybe hold on to Jordan Dawson this week, but he's playing forward pocket to start the game. Obviously that could change as Adelaide are going to switch things around, but the forward line for the Crows is quite meh right now. So you'll see where I've made the changes, but Jordan Dawson is not going to be our midfielder. I feel like someone else will play better in the midfield this week compared to Dawson. So that's all right. We are going to take it and leave it. We're going to go to top 18 though, and look at all the changes. We're seeing some Richmond in there. Whitfield's back. Sheasel's back. Nick Newman is getting his first start for the year for us. He has started to really creep up. I had not noticed Nick Newman doing this well as of late. 108 points last week. A lot of people have mentioned him to me, and so I thought now's the time. Nick Newman, let's do it, baby. Let's hope he can play well. First time in the team. He looks to be pretty good. Baker's starting to find more form over and over again, so Baker should play an important role in the Thursday night matchup they've got. But then I'm really excited for this midfield, man. I feel like the ceiling for every single player in this midfield is really high. Merritt and Martin, we know. I've had him plenty of times. Bont, he topped last week with 159. Obviously at his worst, he can really stink it up, but when he turns it on, he turns it on. He did it against Collingwood, can definitely do it anytime he needs to. It's just when he doesn't is when we really struggle in a week. Goulden finds himself running up and down the wing. He just gets himself involved so often. And yeah, Walsh, I'm really putting a lot of faith in Walsh this week. He's going to be my most kind of faithful and exciting player, I reckon. But then we move to the forward line, and a few things here and there. Bolton's back in, so hopefully we can see some good performance from him. He's coming off an injury, so there is a bit of worry with him, but he's one of the only Tigers players who's playing at a somewhat consistent level alongside Baker, so the hope is that they both play well. Fogarty, he sticks out like a sore thumb to me. This is going to be a very interesting call because he averages 60 for the season, 43 points regularly. The reason I've got Fogarty in is because he is one of the only big forwards for that Adelaide forward line. You've got Isaac Rankin who's not playing. Taylor Walker is out injured this week. Riley O'Brien won't be able to take that in hands. The only one who's contesting it is Joshua Shelley, and obviously Jordan Dawson is in that forward pocket, so he may play a bit of a forward role to help out Fogarty, but that means Fogarty is going to be getting a lot of the ball coming his way. And they're up against, I think they are up against Richmond. I think that's who they're up against. So this could be a really good opportunity for Fogarty to explode. Much like my Todd Marshall pick from the other week, this is kind of like that again. This is going to be a really risky pick, and it could see us maybe pull off a massive win this week. It would be awesome if everyone played well. Obviously, that is very wishful thinking because Myers has been on a bit of poor players of late, been on a bit of a bad stretch. That is a very, un-Brian Myers, stat line. That is, no marks, no goals, 12 disposals. That's very much not how Brian Myers is like. Cameron played all right, just below average, but would be awesome to see him get back to his usual form. They've been so poor as of late. Mackay seems to be the one getting more points compared to Curnow. I think, he's about 10 points above, so Mackay's going to get the nod over Curnow, and then Heaney is Heaney. No reason to explain that. Top 18 has been good so far the last 2 weeks, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can manage to find ourselves another top 20 week and get another prize card. It's always nice. Go to the tips though, and there's a few interesting ones here and there that I'm really interested to see how it turns out. I think there's some that I want to tip out straight away. I think with form, Sydney at Sydney will take this one over Geelong. Collingwood will take it against Melbourne, and Essendon, Carlton, that's not going to be an obvious one. Saints, Gold Coast, this honestly could go the Saints' way. Gold Coast, I don't know, man. It's so hard. I'm gonna actually tip Gold Coast because I feel like that win against Essendon, surely they find some momentum back in Melbourne. Like, surely after that win against Essendon, they could do something with that. I really, really hope that tip doesn't go against me. Adelaide versus Richmond could end up being a lot more interesting than we think it is. I'm gonna still tip Adelaide at Adelaide, but I wouldn't be surprised if Richmond make it close. Dogs Brisbane, I usually have a little bit of faith in Brisbane, but Dogs are just in really hot form right now. Brisbane is not, so that's probably where my pick goes. Hawthorn versus the Giants. Hawthorn looking actually really good as of late. They look to finally find some cohesion together as they've strung a couple wins together. But the Giants, they're very good. They've still played really well throughout the year. They did lose to Essendon and Melbourne, so we could see something similar against Hawthorn. Maybe this is where my upset comes. I think I'm going to tip the Hawks here. And then West Coast versus North. Even though we are not going to be seeing Harley Reid due to suspension, I still think West Coast takes this. It is in Perth. It's at home, and I can't trust North Melbourne. Oh my god, I nearly forgot. Essendon versus Carlton. I think we're going to go Carlton. Essendon coming off a loss. Maybe that boosts them into a win here, but I think Carlton have been very strong throughout the season and look like a solid machine. And that is where I'm going to end it. Another preview in the books. Let me know what your teams are looking like in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new and enjoy the content you've been seeing here today. And become a member if you want to support the channel in more ways than that. So again, thank you so much for all the supporters of late. Recently hit 2.6k, really trying to run our way into 3k subs. It would be awesome if we hit 2k and 3k in the same year. Crazy stuff, but thank you guys so much for what you've done so far. Appreciate it so much, and I will see you all for tomorrow's video. Good.